Trail of Shadows Issue 4 is finally out, and the story is starting to wrap up as things get very dark for Emereick and Cyan. We've only got one issue left and still every question left to answer, so I really hope Issue 5 will deliver with a bang, seeing as this issue ends with a shock. Issue 4 opens up on Utterson sneaking around through what looks like a waterfront village that also happens to be his home. He's returning to give his family something to hold them over, not sure if it's food or credits, but he promises to return soon with enough credits to pay off their medical school debts, allowing them to be set for life. At the same time, Utterson is being trailed by a Republic spy named Besar, who has the job of following Utterson and putting a tracking beacon aboard his ship. But when the beacon refuses to stay on the landing gear, Besar ends up going up in the ship in hopes of completing her mission. Meanwhile, Emereick is getting some rest while Cyan plays music for him, but she warns him that if he keeps sulking, she will stop playing. Emereick explains that he has the patience that all Jedi have, but he'd much rather be able to see the storm and do something about it now, as opposed to just waiting for the storm to happen. And just as it happens, his communicator goes off, with Besar reporting in on Utterson's position. And soon after, the Republic are on their way to apprehend him with some new starfighters that look incredible. Of course, we have the Jedi Vector, but we also have a few new ships, most of which resemble the classic Jedi starfighter that we first saw in Attack of the Clones, which I think is a great callback. But it's not an easy attack, as the Nihil are on them from the start, shooting down the Republic forces with ease. Aboard the Nihil cruiser, Utterson is done being bossed around by the Nihil and is able to take a blaster from a Nihil member and blasts him into pieces in a white-hot rage, only stopping when Emereick cuts through and lands right in the Nihil ship, but he's unable to do anything as he instantly falls to the floor as something seems to be draining the force from him, giving us our very first ever look at the creature behind so much death and destruction. The Leveler. It's definitely not what I was expecting it to look like, but I'll be honest, it's pretty terrifying and I would definitely want to be as far away from it as humanly possible. Emereick falls into a state of shock as he's only feeling the powers of the Leveler through a peephole in the wall, and if the door was completely open, well, we would know the fate of his character. This moment of distraction, however, gives Besar the time to grab the Nihil's blaster and hold it right up to Utterson, but she isn't able to effectively take him down as Aerithab appears from the darkness. Aerithab makes a strike at Besar as she struggles to turn off the stun setting, but is saved by Cyan Holt, using Emereick's lightsaber to cut off Aerithab's arm. She then goes to Emereick's side, trying to get him to stand, but he is still tormented by visions of the Leveler. Cyan is able to get Emereick to stand, and Besar heads to pilot their ship towards Starlight Beacon, but when they arrive, the station is engulfed in flames, leaving us all to wait for the finale in issue 5. Overall, while this series really hasn't uncovered much, I still really enjoy it. Cyan Holt and Emereick Caphor are awesome characters, and I feel that their relationship is one that should stick around in the High Republic. I am very happy that we finally got our first look at the Leveler, though. At first, I thought the Leveler would be the creature on the cover of this issue, but as it turns out, it's more of a Lovecraftian horror, which I think fits the creature perfectly, knowing what it's capable of. I do have really high expectations for issue 5 as it wraps up Emereick and Cyan's arc, so I hope their role during the fall of Starlight Beacon really pays off. But that's everything I have to say about Trail of Shadows issue 4. But what were your thoughts? Is this series moving too slow for you with only one issue left? Would you like to see Emereick and Cyan reappear in the stories? And what do you think about our first look at the Leveler? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. As always, be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.